So, Caitlin Clark, it has been revealed that Ice Cube offered her $1.5 million per game. And this is my favorite thing, is that the Big 3 will use...
Okay, this is wild. Caitlin Clark, the woman who single-handedly dragged women's basketball from the back pages to primetime, just turned down a jaw-dropping $15 million contract from Ice Cube's Big 3 league. And while the WNBA collectively exhaled in relief, a chorus of jealous players are still convinced they deserve equal billing in a story that honestly wouldn't even exist without her.
Caitlin Clark, did you turn down $15 million? Oh, that's a boss move. Oh, that's a crazy boss move. I understand. You got Nike deals. You got freaking PGA Golf Tour, Live Golf Tour. You got hockey sponsor. I know you got a lot going on, but to turn down 15 M's, unrivaled. If y'all thought a few million and some equity was gonna get her to show.
This isn't just about money though. This is about a 23-year-old phenomenon choosing loyalty over luxury, fans over fortune, and the entire future of women's basketball over personal gain. Think about it. While her WNBA peers are maxing out at around $249,000 a year, Clark literally walked away from enough cash to buy a small island, or at least a very nice house with an actual basketball court in the backyard.
The $15 million, that's life-changing money for anyone, let alone a rookie athlete. So where did this unbelievable offer come from, and why on earth would Caitlin Clark turn it down? So the offer, as you guys can see on the article on the screen, was from the Big 3, the 3-on-3 basketball league founded by the one and only Ice Cube. And the first offer was already huge, a cool $5 million ball. But in a sign of just how desperate they were to get Clark, they tripled it, blowing it up to a massive 50.
Ice Cube's Big 3 league wasn't just offering Clark pocket change either. They started at $5 million, then tripled their offer to a staggering $15 million for just 10 weeks of work. That's $1.5 million per game, folks. Let me repeat that. Per game. Most WNBA players would need to play for 6 decades to earn what Clark was offered for a single afternoon of basketball.
Caitlin Clark. The Big 3 reportedly offered Caitlin Clark $15 million for 10 games. For 10 games. That is insane. That's wild. And it says she declined. That's a lot of chicken to turn down. I can't lie to you. I can't lie to you. I literally can't. I can't. That is insane. I don't know, bro. 15 million for 10 games. Woo. Woo.
But here's the truly beautiful part. She said no, not maybe, not let me think about it. A flat-out, unequivocal thanks but no thanks. Because unlike the players throwing subtle shade on social media and complaining about attention they haven't earned, Caitlin Clark actually understands what this moment means for women's basketball.
Ice Cube, I'm sorry, my precious CC said no. 15 mil to play in your Big 3 league? No, I don't chase the money. Money chase me. You hear me? At the end of the day, she is worth $1 billion. By the time her career ends, I'm telling you, all these other endorsement deals she have, and then make it make sense. Why was she playing a Big 3 against NBA players who are stronger than her, which can injure her? You hear me? She would be the smallest person on the court. That wouldn't even make sense. And then I'm thinking like, y'all probably would try to embarrass her and all of that, bro. Like, it's a lot of undercover hate going on.
The WNBA, meanwhile, was in total panic mode. They went through every single stage of grief in about 72 hours. First came denial. Surely their golden goose wouldn't actually consider leaving, right? Then anger. How dare someone offer their star player real money when they can barely scrape together 6 figures? Bargaining followed. Maybe they could find some creative ways to increase her compensation through marketing deals. Depression set in when they realized Clark could make more money in 10 weeks than their entire salary cap allows for an entire team. But then finally came acceptance, wrapped in the sweetest relief the league has ever experienced.
Down. Caitlin Clark, you so much better than me. The WNBA would have never, hey listen, I would have never stepped foot on that court. $1.5 million per game. Bron don't even make that. And you turned it down for her contract in the WNBA, she gonna make like $400,000 in 4 years. That's the part that I don't really understand about WNBA players. They make so much bread everywhere else. They be making more bread in college. They make more bread overseas. They can make more in Unrivaled, the Big 3. There's so many options, but they still be playing in the WNBA. I don't get it. Go on strike, bro. If there's money like this available, go get it. Don't be loyal to
Clark turned it down. She chose them. She chose the grind of an 82-degree gymnasium in Indiana over the glamour of whatever the Big 3 had to offer. The WNBA didn't just dodge a bullet, they dodged a financial nuclear bomb that would have left the league scrambling to explain why their most valuable asset decided to take her talents to South Beach, or wherever Ice Cube hosts basketball games these days. However, while Clark was making what might be the most selfless decision in recent sports history, her peers were busy computing exactly how unfair life had suddenly become. The current WNBA salary cap sits at a modest $1,507 of $100 per team, and that's for an entire roster of 11 to 12 players. Clark's Big 3 offer would have consumed nearly 10 times that amount for one player for 10 games. The math is so absurd, it's almost insulting to traditional mathematics.
Example of what it looks like when people are jealous of you, look at Caitlin Clark. She is undeniably a great basketball player. That is just a fact. Now, there have been a lot of great basketball players before her, and there will be after her. But what we do know is that she is getting a ton of recognition. And that breeds jealousy. When you shine bright and you're really great at what you do, people come for you more because you are great. Notice how much friction there is on the court. There is always someone going up against her. There's always people taking personal offense.
But let's talk about the elephant in the arena, jealousy. Dick Vitale, a man who's forgotten more about basketball than most players will ever know, called it exactly what it was, pure jealousy, when Clark was ranked 9th among guards by her fellow WNBA players in All-Star voting. Despite leading fan votes and finishing 3rd in media rankings, the message was crystal clear. These players would rather cut off their shooting hands than admit Clark has elevated their entire sport.
The WNBA's jealousy of Caitlin Clark has never been more obvious as players vote her the 9th best guard. Yes, you read that right, bro. The WNBA just had their All-Star voting return, and the players voted Caitlin Clark as the 9th best guard in the league. Mind you, this is the same Caitlin Clark that came in breaking every record. She putting up numbers that have never been done in WNBA history. She literally has the entire league on her back. Look down here. This is how many votes she got from the fans. Look, she got 1.2 million All-Star votes. Not only is that a WNBA record, but it breaks her own record from last year when she got 700,000 as a rookie. And this, look, for reference, the top 30 vote getters for the 2023 All-Star game got 1.7 million.
Meanwhile, Clark's actual WNBA salary remains a cosmic joke. She's making $78,066 this season. For context, that's less than what some people spend on a luxury car, and Clark is literally responsible for 27% of the league's economic activity. An economist at Indiana University calculated that she generated $36 million in economic impact to Indianapolis alone during her rookie season. She's bringing in more revenue than some small countries, and the WNBA is paying her like she's managing a Dairy Queen. Clark's response to all this chaos has been nothing short of masterful. While players like Asia Wilson are leaking information about their own contract offers to try and stay relevant, Clark is out here talking about how she won't pay $10 for airplane Wi-Fi because she's a little cheap. This woman just walked away from $15 million and she's worried about the cost of internet access on a Delta flight. That's not just humble, that's transcendent. But here's what makes Clark's decision even more remarkable. She could have said screw it to the entire WNBA ecosystem. A lot of people would have The league that underpays her by orders of magnitude, the players who resent her success, the media that constantly questions whether she deserves the attention. Any rational person would have taken the money and run. But Clark isn't rational in the traditional sense. She's visionary.
Her endorsement deals must be pretty decent for her to willingly turn that down, because we know her WNBA salary is nothing to brag about. But for her to do that, I guess I look at it like this. If she were to have accepted that before she even stepped foot on a WNBA court, I could only imagine how they would have treated her. I don't even think she would have made it through half the season. She would have had a season-ending injury for sure, with how rough they were treating her as a rookie and fouling her and just being aggressive with her in comparison to other players. I don't think she would have made it through the season as a rookie. So I guess in a sense that may be a blessing in disguise. It's hard to say a blessing in disguise when you lose out on 15 M's, but nobody knows. That may have been a blessing in disguise.
She understands that her value isn't just measured in dollars and cents, but in the little girls who now dream of shooting logo threes and the mothers who plan family outings around WNBA games. She sees the bigger picture, building something sustainable for women's basketball in America, not just cashing in on a moment. The reality of what Clark has built is not talked about enough, because the numbers are staggering. Her debut game drew 2.1 million viewers, the largest WNBA audience in over 2 decades. Games featuring Clark have broken attendance records that stood since the league's inception. The Indiana Fever, which drew just 81,000 fans for the entire 2023 season, surpassed that number in their first 5 home games with Clark. When the Mystics Fever game moved from a 4,100-seat venue to a 20,300-seat arena and still sold out, it wasn't just a basketball game, it was a cultural event. Families were traveling across states, kids were wearing Clark jerseys to school, and suddenly women's basketball had water cooler conversations in offices across America. But the most telling statistic, WNBA merchandise sales increased by 66% year over year. Not 36%, but 26%. That's not growth, that's an economic explosion, and it's all because of one player who decided that building something lasting was more important than grabbing the biggest payday available.
They're trying to destroy her from within, and it's the players. Realistically, I know we're out of time. WNBA last year was the first year in its like 25-30 year existence that it was profitable. Made $1 million, but it was the first time that it didn't lose money, because the NBA supplements. Well, when Caitlin Clark comes to town, you have to go from the 8,000 seat WNBA arena to the 30,000 seat whatever arena across town, because of ticket sales and all of the apparel and all of this stuff that's coming from Caitlin Clark. And you're just like, okay, but the league is totally.
You see, while Clark was turning down generational wealth, other WNBA players were busy calculating their own inadequate paychecks. The league's highest paid player makes $249,244 per year. That's roughly what Clark was offered per game by the Big 3. The salary cap prevents any individual player from earning more than that, which means the WNBA's entire pay structure is fundamentally incompatible with paying stars what they're actually worth. This is why players like Kelsey Mitchell, the league's highest paid players, and Jackie Young, with her $4,900 2-year deal, can't help but look at Clark's rejected offer with a mixture of awe and envy. They're playing for what amounts to rounding errors compared to what Clark could have made by switching leagues. But here's the beautiful irony. Clark's decision to stay is exactly why those salaries might actually increase. New CBA negotiations are projecting maximum salaries could reach $1 million, a 300% increase from current levels. And that's only possible because Clark chose to build the brand rather than abandon it for immediate gratification.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the meetings that are going to happen in Indianapolis are going to be really important. And, you know, although I'm not our team rep or on the committee, like I'm still, you know, trying to understand and engage as much as possible. Obviously, this is my second year in the league, but also this is like a very important time for our league and where it's going to continue to grow. So, you know, I'm certainly looking forward to those meetings and being in them. And I think everybody in our league is to help these CBA talks continue to move forward. So should be very important for us on Thursday. Yes, I'll be there.
You've played in NBA.
When Caitlin Clark announced she was staying in the WNBA, front office executives probably needed medical attention for stress-induced heart palpitations. The league has been riding the Caitlin Clark wave since her college days, and losing her would have been like losing the engine while the plane was still climbing. Every television contract, every sponsorship deal, every expansion team paying hundreds of millions to join the league. It all traces back to the phenomenon Clark created. She didn't just raise the profile of women's basketball, she fundamentally altered the business model. The WNBA went from a barely sustainable niche product to a legitimate entertainment option that competes with major men's sports for attention. Clark's rookie card sold for $660,000 at auction, which is more than her entire 4-year WNBA contract. That's not just collectible value, that's cultural impact made tangible. When a piece of cardboard with someone's picture on it sells for more than their annual salary, you know the traditional compensation structure has completely lost touch with reality.
$660,000 is insane. I'm sure there are plenty of cards out there that have gone for more than that. One, it is her second year. What are we doing? Like, I get that the Caitlin Clark fanfare is the whole thing. I think she's a great basketball player. She can kick.
Caitlin Clark has embraced the role of humble champion, handling the chaos around her with textbook leadership. While some players grumble about media attention and spotlight distribution, Clark speaks about fans remembering the moments they shared at games and the joy of seeing their kids light up while watching women's basketball. She isn't chasing personal accolades. She's focused on building a legacy for an entire generation of young athletes. When asked about her decision to turn down the Big 3 offer, Clark didn't make it about sacrifice or nobility. She simply redirected the conversation back to the fans and the future of women's basketball in America. That's not media training talking. That's a genuine understanding of what this moment means beyond individual bank accounts. But let's be clear about what Clark accomplished by saying no to $15 million. She chose to be underpaid in service of something bigger. The WNBA salary structure means she'll never earn what she's actually worth to the league, but she chose potential over immediate gratification, growth over personal enrichment, and building something sustainable over cashing in on a trend.
Look, she's smarter than a lot of people think at the end of the day, and I'm pretty sure she has a lot of stock options. You hear me? She's the face of the league. That lets me know y'all going out y'all way to get her to come play for y'all, whatever y'all built, you know what I'm saying? And that's cool, but at the end of the day, her focus is the WNBA. Nobody can't tell me that she ain't the face of the league. Matter of fact, since she turned it down, how about you go get Angel Reese? I know, cause she ain't worth nothing more than a Popeye's chicken sandwich and crap.
This story isn't really about money, it's about vision. Caitlin Clark saw the chance to transform women's basketball from a charity case into a true entertainment juggernaut, and she chose to stay and finish the job. While jealous peers grumble about equal billing in a story that wouldn't exist without her, Clark stays locked on the only thing that matters, building something that will outlast all of their careers combined. The WNBA can breathe easy for now. Their golden goose isn't flying the coop, but they better figure out how to properly compensate the woman who single-handedly saved their league before someone else comes along with an offer she can't refuse. Because next time, even Caitlin Clark's legendary loyalty might not be enough to overcome the basic mathematics of being valued at $1 billion and paid like a college graduate. The panic is over, but the lesson remains. Sometimes the most valuable player isn't the one demanding the most money, it's the one willing to sacrifice personal gain to build something bigger than themselves. Caitlin Clark just proved that champions aren't just made on the court. Sometimes they're made by walking away from the biggest payday of their lives to chase something even more valuable: legacy.